I've been bad at games for a long time.
What the fuck is going on, Jack? Jack!
Oh my god!
I was never that good at learning characters or strategizing. I could get really close sometimes and fall just short enough to want to spike my laptop into the dumpster outside. But at the same time, I've always been a completionist. Getting the best outcome in games has been my biggest focus for as long as I can remember. In a perfect world, I would have just stopped playing games altogether and pursued something meaningful, but thankfully for me, we don't live in a perfect world. Yeah, we're talking about video games again. Save scumming is a technique used in video games where the player creates a save file at a certain point and continues to load that save file until they get a certain outcome. This is how I got through most of the Fallout games. Speech checks, boss fights, anytime a consequence isn't guaranteed, it's instinctive, almost involuntary. It feels like an out-of-body experience as my hand moves to the reload save key. Holding that level of control over my character's story and what happens to them is fascinating to me. It started years and years ago when I'd watch a playthrough of a game I really wanted to play but couldn't afford at the time. Watching these playthroughs, I'd notice what ending or outcome I'd want in my own playthrough, so when the time came, my finger would hover over the F5 key before pretty much any interaction, just in case I hadn't said the right thing. Playing through Fallout 3 for the first time, I noticed that this technique allowed me to pass any speech check I wanted, as long as I was willing to try again and again. Reloading a save countless times because I hadn't designed my character for this interaction, but I still wanted its outcome. And in these games, it kind of feels evil. It doesn't feel right to control my character's path. It violates the randomness of the game. It makes the game easier than intended. At least that's what this guy on Reddit said. The truth is, the random number god doesn't always look down kindly on us, and to put yourself under the thumb of some frankly poorly written code just to maintain this purity is just silly. Making the game easier, bypassing the simulated randomness, these are side effects. All I wanted was complete control. And I think that's human. About Time is a movie about time. It follows a man named Tim who is not having a good time at his family's New Year's Eve party. There are several blunders, but I'll just show you the worst one.
Happy New Year!
His sister wakes him up the next morning and sends him to his father's office, where he's eventually told that he can time travel. Tim immediately tests this the same way any man should. I won't spoil the rest, but throughout the movie, Tim learns that even with complete control, he still can't make things go his way. No matter what he does, it seems like something goes wrong. It's really easy to blame the hand you've been dealt. Very few people end up with a silver spoon or a full scholarship, and that can make it feel like an uphill battle. And sometimes it is. Life deals hands you don't expect. But sometimes you spend all your time cursing the dealer and you never actually play the hand. You're just waiting for the game to change around you. Maybe it is your fault. The grade you got, the job you didn't, whatever answer you received, maybe it is your fault. You can't control the circumstances you're put in most of the time, and you certainly can't decide for other people. But you also can't blame your shortcomings on the world around you. This isn't a call to pick yourself up by the bootstraps, and I'm not asking who's going to carry the boats. There always comes a time when you've done all you can and the results are simply out of your hands. But more often than not, you messed up. I messed up. And that's not a nice realization to have. I never want to admit that I didn't do my best because it's hard. And it's even harder to admit that because of that, I've failed. Whether it was school or work or some hobby, I failed. But I think what I tell myself more often than not is that as soon as I fail, I'm done. The game ends, the career's over, the relationship is gone. And that is simply not true. I could list a million inspirational poster quotes and all of them are cringy and overused, but there's a reason for them. The men who came before me did not shrug off blame or point fingers because they knew that the common denominator was not their circumstances. They recognized that failure is not life's end state, so acknowledging failure didn't mean that they were lost. The men who came before me didn't blame the system and pray for things to change. They changed themselves. Maybe it's my fault. and maybe I need to change.